The truth about school. Here's a quote. A country's education system is created to systematically raise the nation's baseline for education. It does not adequately meet the needs of the individual. True or false?
Definitely true. I mean, I feel personally that my needs haven't been met fully. And I know a bunch of people whose needs haven't been met in their, it's specific needs. I think school is very generalized.
Right. You take a look at between you and I. I've got two university degrees, been through the system, taught for 25 years. All right. And you were a model student, A's, A pluses, all of that. Let's talk about some of the things. Number one,
Yeah.
one thing that school has not addressed very well that you see time and time again with people struggling is emotional intelligence. How to address problems logically with a solution based outcome. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, emotional intelligence is the biggest thing to where, when I was in my last year of high school, they first started implementing it barely by anything, Emotional intelligence is huge and it's something that they don't cover at all. Like you said before, it's kind of almost like a prison setting, and they're teaching stuff that's generalized. There's no personal needs being met, and especially emotionally, that's huge.
Right. Well, take a look at so many different students' needs. And there's so many personalities in the classroom. You got the bookworm, you got the kid who's a little bit of um, a little hyperactive. You've got the shy kid, you got the extroverted kid. And, if you teach to one certain way, you might only affect that 20% that relates to you or you relate to. The other 80% are lost. And if they act out, how is a teacher to address that?
And that's
Not
oftentimes you see that.
effectively. Not
Oftentimes you
effectively.
see that. I've had a bunch of teachers where they fully match my needs. I love the class. I'm like, man, this is going really good. I learn a lot. And then I have classes where, I'm like, I'm not learning anything. This is tough. This teacher's not doing shit for me. She's favoring people. He's favoring people. It's just bullshit. So like you said, you're gonna have some teachers that meet others' needs, some that don't. Um, and that's fully the amount of the problem. That's one of the biggest problems you have right there.
Right. Now, having said that, I know that's another point that I've got here. How do you address something like emotional intelligence? Should there be a course on that? Should it be a constant theme in school? And my thing is absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, emotional intelligence, you want to give really quickly a brief on what it is fully?
It's how you deal with problems in an intelligent way to come up with a solution that's effective.
Exactly.
Bottom
And I
line.
think a biggest part of that is understanding yourself. And how often do you get to learn about yourself, get to learn about your strengths in school? The answer is never, barely ever, because they're just general, like I've said
We're
a few
too
times
busy
already.
teaching content and not teaching students. And there's a
Exactly.
big difference between the two. Let's talk about number two, physical fitness and health. So, how to eat properly, how to exercise properly, how to take care of yourself. Now, we do have a curriculum in place. It's not working. 64% of Canadians over the age of 18 are overweight. 64%. That's two thirds. 30%, sorry, 64% are overweight or obese. 30% of those are kids. Now, those are some shitty stats. So, are we effective? How do you teach physical fitness and health? What do you do?
Most we have right now, or been having, is gym class and maybe some health classes, maybe some kinesiology classes in high school. That's about it.
Yeah, I know in the school that I last taught in, I taught most of the phys ed. And I taught a lot of the health. It makes a difference when you have a specialist coming in and teaching. A lot of students, a lot of schools do not have that. They do not have the specialist. They have somebody who isn't the epitome of great health or fitness teaching them, and it just falls to the wayside. And
So what do
secondly,
you,
there's something about experiential learning that needs to be taking place, right? So yeah, it's a good thing to tell people about fitness or health, but to actually do it as part of the curriculum, getting them outside and doing active things, we don't see enough of that.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, what are you teaching your kids? Are you teaching them stuff that's going to help them in life or not? Are you teaching kids to die early? Or are you teaching kids to, be healthy? Because bottom line is, you teach these kids the baseline for what they need for a job. They go get a job. And like you said, a majority of them get fat or they're already fat or they're unhealthy. they're going to die early, right? And that's just the bottom line. And you're not teaching kids how to be healthy throughout their lives.
No, you got to take a look at the lunch boxes of students at school.
I was going to say that next.
It's convenient, it's easy, convenient things that the kids are going to say yes to. You pack something healthy, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of kids who eat healthy foods, but for the most part, if they get something super healthy, that's going in the garbage.
Definitely. Yep.
Right. So what you do is a lot of parents just say, I have no choice. I'm going to pack whatever. So at least my kid eats something. And man, 6 times out of 10, it's not the most nutritious stuff. It's packaged food.
Exactly. So does school cover health? One of the most important, if not the most important thing in life? No. Bottom line, they don't. They don't cover it well enough.
Right. So they're failing. How do I know that? Again, look at the stats. It's that simple. Number 3, financial literacy.
How that's one of the biggest things.
Kids about money, about finances, about not spending, about saving, about investing. So here's the stat. How are we doing? The average Canadian is in debt. So this is the first quarter of 2020. Debt, not including mortgage, is 175%. So for every $1 Canadian has brought in, they owed 1.75 to creditors. That's the debt to income ratio. It's ridiculous. No one's saving anything.
And no one's learning about how to save anything either. That's the bottom line. Are we getting educated in the right way? Unless you're in a financial class, unless you're in a business class or an accounting class, which is not until you get to university and you start specializing.
Or late high school.
Or late high school, if you choose to do that, which most people don't, you're not getting educated. This should be a baseline class. It should be mandatory.
Baseline from the start. Grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. All right. Number 4, self-directed learning, growth mindset, critical thinking. How well do teachers and the school system allow for students to be self-directed?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest example I have is when in 8th grade, we got a project, and I think it was from you actually, because you were my 8th grade teacher, and you said the project is anything you want to learn about. And everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had the same type of project in university. It was kind of like a course, but the guy said, look, anything related to health, you're going to do. That's your project. Make it interesting. And everyone's freaking out. Meanwhile, me here, I mean, learning from you, I'm excited because I'm like, I have so many ideas. I'm going to do it exactly how I want to do, and end up getting an A+. But the bottom line is everybody failed that activity because they're so used to being guided with a study guide and, assignments.
Tell me what I need to do. I don't get it. What am I supposed to do now? Right? And it's just so low level thinking that no one has any critical thought as to how to venture off and learn on their own.
And what's bullshit is people start establishing in school. I hate it, especially in high school. They started establishing critical thinking, especially in math classes. And it's just harder problems that really didn't boost your critical thinking at all, because what I think is critical thinking is that project right there. That's real life critical thinking. What are you going to do with this problem? How are you going to make a solution? How are you going to make something out of it? Whatever it is. And whereas a math problem, you're like, holy fuck, I'm thinking too much. I don't know, understand this. I have to apply math to this. I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I know in my classes, math classes, when I taught math ages ago, I had kids doing math by building a model home. And you talk about painting rooms. What is the design structure? There's so much math involved in creating a home.
Even financing, like we just talked about, how much math is involved in that?
Real math. Unbelievable. Oh yeah. Managing a household and managing a budget. There's so much math involved in that. So it's real world stuff that we have to do on a daily basis.